Refusing to resign. I'm Pam Puso, Fox News. Virginia Governor Ralph Northam is hoping to weather a political firestorm. He is resisting widespread calls to step aside. The Democrat is also denying being one of the people in a picture featured in his medical school yearbook. The photo, dating back to 1984, features one person in a KKK hood and another in blackface.
There is no way that I have ever been in a KKK uniform. I am not the person in that uniform, and I am not the person to the right.
Northam does admit wearing blackface when he dressed as Michael Jackson during a dance contest that same year, something he says he regrets. A standoff between a barricaded suspect and police has left an Ohio sheriff's deputy dead. Another officer is hurt. Officials in Claremont County say the 10-hour ordeal is ongoing. We're 2 days away from President Trump's State of the Union speech. He's expected to highlight the crisis at our southern border as lawmakers work to negotiate a bill to keep the government open.
President Trump has said that those bipartisan negotiations, that bipartisan conference committee who is negotiating on Capitol Hill to try to come up with some sort of border security package that the president will sign by February 15th. He has said those talks at this point are proving to be a waste of time. The president has said on multiple occasions that he is prepared to declare a national emergency in the event a deal is not reached.
That's Fox's Ellison Barber. Hoping to turn a page in Christian-Muslim relations, Pope Francis, who's heading to the Arabian Peninsula.
The Vatican says the Pope's 3-day visit to the United Arab Emirates will focus on dialogue between religions and peace. He'll take part in a conference and hold an open-air mass expected to be attended by more than 130,000 people.
That's Fox's Simon Owen in our European Bureau. This is Fox News. Another Democrat officially kicking off her presidential campaign. During a rally in Honolulu yesterday, Congresswoman Tulsi Gabbard of Hawaii highlighted her military service.
The president's most important responsibility is to serve as commander-in-chief. I will do so as a soldier who understands the seriousness of this responsibility.
Gabbard, who was a fierce opponent of same-sex marriage when she served in the state legislature in her 20s, has since disavowed those views and now professes support for LGBTQ rights. She joins an already crowded field of Democratic candidates. Hard to believe, but 1 year from today, we'll have our first election results.
The Democratic National Committee has set the Iowa caucuses, the first-in-the-nation contest, for February 3rd, 2020. The list of Democrats running for president has already hit double digits and is expected to continue growing over the next few months. A strong finish in Iowa has proven valuable. Hillary Clinton narrowly defeated Bernie Sanders 4 years ago before capturing the Democratic nomination. President Obama won Iowa in a crowded field in 2008. President George W. Bush was the last Republican to win the Iowa caucuses and his party's nomination. Neither John McCain, Mitt Romney, nor President Trump won the Iowa caucuses. In Washington, Jared Halpern, Fox News.
Hours away from the big game in Atlanta, where the New England Patriots will meet the Los Angeles Rams in the Super Bowl.
Patriots QB Tom Brady, no stranger to this stage, entering his 9th Super Bowl appearance of his storied career, looking to guide the Pats to an NFL record-tying 6th Vince Lombardi trophy. For the Rams, quarterback Jared Goff heads into the big game in just his 3rd year under center for Los Angeles, trying to guide the Rams to their first Super Bowl win in nearly 2 decades, and their first while being based out of L.A.
That's Fox's Matt Napolitano in Atlanta. I'm Pam Puso. This is Fox News.
I grab my fishing pole and cast it in the water. I fish until dawn. Oh my, I caught a shark. I'm fishing it on and on. When the sun shines all day. They call me a grouper. So I'm fishing it on and on. Oh yeah.
It's the Fish Florida Show with your host, Riscala Stevens, bringing the outdoors to you every Sunday morning, 8 to 10 a.m. And now your host, Riscala Stevens.
Well, a very big and gracious good morning to you out there. If you are just tuning in, thank you for taking the time. It is the Fish Florida Show, an honor and a privilege to have you here with us this morning. I'm waiting for my co-host to call in. She may be having some cellular issues where she's at. She kind of warned me ahead of time. She may be in a sparse area, but normally I have with me Pam Worth. She is one of the top female kayak anglers here in Florida, always bringing a unique perspective to the table, if you will. And so this morning we've got another great lineup of guests for you. I get such an enjoyment out of having these people come on because each one of them has something to share that is unique to them. And that way the listener on the other end of the microphone gets a buffet, if you will, of information all about fishing. So, let's see. Who do we have? We have, of course, Robert Warner. Robert is with the Florida Fisherman Magazine, and another one of the people that I appreciate so much. He has so many contacts. His network is so wide and so vast. And I had spoke with him on Friday. As some of you may know, I've been looking for somebody who is like a scuba diver. We had this young lady, Stephanie, I can't think of her last name, but she was a snorkel, what would you call her? She was she was the one who jumped in the water with the dolphins, not bottlenose dolphins. She was the one who would jump in the water with the dolphins and spear them. So maybe it was a snorkel spearer, maybe. Anyway, I'm looking for somebody who's kind of like a regular that can come on, and I think it would be interesting to hear what is going on at the bottom. That people are down there looking around and seeing what's going on at the bottom. Because the majority of us, as far as I can tell, we're on top of the water. We're not down there on the bottom. And I think it would be interesting for the listeners that we would have somebody who could tell us, this particular area is growing, this particular area is not, this particular area is just kind of static. It's not really doing anything. Stagnant may be a better word. That kind of things. And as well as they could tell us with regard to the water that they're seeing down there. I haven't been down in the water in quite some time. It's been, my gosh, probably 30 years, even more. I used to love snorkeling, going down and just taking a look at what's going on around there. One of my favorite places to go was down in the Keys. There's a place down there called John Pennekamp, and off of the reef there is a statue of Christ. It's in about 25 feet of water, 25, maybe 30 feet of water, I think. And we used to go there. Oh my gosh, that was one of the greatest things to see. The water would be so clear. And you go down maybe 3 or 4 feet. You don't have to go down very far, and you can see this thing. It's really very awesome. Now, again, it's been a long time, so I don't know what it looks like now, but I know back then it was a pretty awesome sight to see. All right, I think I got Mr. Robert Warner on with me this morning. Good morning, Robert.
Good morning.
How are you, my friend?
I am doing well. And how's everybody there?
Well,
it's a beautiful day out.
Oh, I know.
Raining.
Yeah, I'm going to kind of give out some of the weather here in a moment, but yeah, Pam is missing in action right now. She told
Probably
me
fishing somewhere. So.
Well, she told me that she may be in an area where she has an issue with the cell service. So let's talk about the weather Let's talk about the weather for just a moment here, because I had the map up. Let me bring up the map again. It looks like Florida is pretty much clear of just a couple of very small things here and there, but really, generally speaking, it's probably 90% clear. Don't really have a lot going on.
The wind has died down, and it should be a beautiful day out there to be fishing. So.
Yeah, it'll be a day for boating. We're looking at northwest winds about 5 knots on up into the afternoon. Seas around 2 feet, and intercoastal waters will be smooth. That'll be all the way into early tonight. So today, if you're thinking about boating, Today's the day to go.
Should be a great day to be out there. I was with Captain Patrick Price yesterday from Daymaker Charters shooting a video for his fishing reports. And the fishing has been great. There is apparently the case of the missing sailfish.
Huh.
He fished a tournament 2 weeks ago just north of Vero Beach, or actually, just north of Vero Beach. where they caught and released 40 in 4 hours, and they lost. He said there were so many sailfish out there. He said when you would pull your baits up, they would follow them and sit by the boat and stare at them like, please drop these.
Oh, my goodness.
And he said, and then the next day they moved a little further north, which is unusual. He said they normally migrate south. He said that they moved just a couple miles north. He said, so it wasn't that drastic of a move. And he said, and then they vanished. He said they are normally migrating south. He said, so they would normally be here. I'm in Stewart, Jensen Beach area. He said they would normally be here by now. And he said, and they're not. And they're not showing up south of me, because I talked to some captains in Delray yesterday, too, while we were sitting there. They're not seeing them. So these fish, we don't know where they went. There was a gigantic pod of sailfish that vanished somewhere out there. He said they either went way out east or I don't know where they went, but they're not here. So,
when they noticed that they had vanished, how many days ago is that? It's just this past week, right?
just the last week. He said these cold fronts have them confused. He said, I don't know if they went back north, went south past the Keys, because he said normally you start seeing these ridiculous numbers of sailfish being caught in the Keys.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he said, so you know that they migrated south. He said, but that's not happening. He said they're getting ones and twos, same as we are here. You know, he said there's nobody coming in with 35 flags on their boat. He said, and this time of year that should be happening, and it's not. They're so if anybody knows where they are, kindly contact us on either Facebook or
give me a call.
And if you see them, let us know. So.
That really is strange, isn't it? Wow.
Mm-hmm.
My goodness, to go from all out pandemonium to
they
nothing.
Caught 762 sailfish in that tournament, caught and released.
Wow.
And he said, and 2 days later they were gone. So where'd they go?
Maybe we made them mad.
Mm-hmm. Or maybe they ate enough. They don't need to eat anymore. I don't know. So.
Oh my gosh! And that is really quite strange. At least it sounds strange to me. To go from.
He was very perplexed by the entire thing. He said, this is normally my big time of year. He said, they're normally all over the place, and I'm taking people out for, catching and releasing 10, 15 sails a day. And he said, I can't find two. So.
Wow. Well, I hope that is not an indication of what's to come. My goodness, that's.
No, I think they're just these. He said these cold fronts have just confused them. He said they've either gone back north a little, or they're headed further south than they normally go. But he said, they just follow weather patterns. He said they follow weather patterns and bait fish. So wherever the bait fish went, that's where they went. So.
Interesting. And when they were catching them, I think you told me one time before when we were talking about them, they weren't going very far offshore, right? These were relatively, yeah.
Mm-mm. No, when the sailfish are in large quantities, you don't have to go far to find them. Matter of fact, my friend Jorge Pinero and I were down in the Keys. It's got to be 3 or 4 years ago now. But we were out at the reef getting ready to catch some yellowtail, and suddenly we're surrounded by sailfish.
Wow.
Just, you never know. I mean, when they're in packs like that, they just look for bait fish, and wherever the bait fish go, that's where they go, and they ball them all up and eat them. So,
It is awesome to watch them. I think it's called The Last Sardine. It's a video that you can watch on YouTube. The Last Sardine, I'm pretty sure that's what it is, and it shows
the BBC video. It's a great one too.
Yeah, and that is awesome. It shows, and what's amazing about some of the stuff, Robert? How in the world do they get some of these shots? It looks like they're literally inches away from some of these fish when they're doing all this stuff.
Well, I'll tell you what, if you look up a guy named Tony Ludovico, he is an underwater photographer, and you will see a lot of those shots. And they refer to him as the ghost. It's like the fish don't even know he's in the water. There's pictures of him like a foot away from a permit in the flats. I mean, how do you do that?
Yeah.
And the fish didn't spook. But yeah, his name is Tony Ludovico. He's a very famous underwater photographer. He does some great artwork. He's done some stuff with us. He's a great guy. Check out his stuff, and he's got a new line of clothing out called H2O gear. which is pretty cool. He took all of his art and put it on shirts. So,
is he local?
He's out of Tampa.
So
he's got a gallery in Tampa. But yes, he's local.
Can you think we could have him come on?
Sure, I'll get a hold of Tony.
Because
he's a great guy and he's a friend, and we've done some projects together. Get him on there next week.
He might be a good candidate to give us a quote underwater. That's what I've been looking for, for a while now. It's somebody underwater who's down there on a regular basis and can tell us, I see this happening, I see that happening. I think it's, in some cases, it's encouraging for those people. Like I heard from those two young men a while back who were telling us about the snapper population on the West Coast, how the conservation was paying off. And I think it's an incentive for us to hear that, so that we know that what we're doing, because, again, majority of us, I believe, are on top of the water. We're not down there in the bottom. We don't see what's going on. So I think it would be interesting.
Yeah, well, we'll get a hold of Tony, and I'll try to get a hold of somebody from the Coral Restoration Foundation by next week, too.
Oh, yeah.
A little short notice. They couldn't find anybody that would be available today, but I'm sure by next Sunday we can find someone, and they can tell you all about rebuilding the coral reef and how the condition of the reef is, too.
Yeah, I think that would be interesting for the listeners as well. Yeah, to try to kind of
keep
them
on there next week.
Yeah, keep up with the environment. That's as to what is happening with regards to the bottom. Again, I think the majority of us are basically on top of the water, and we don't see what's going on down there. And it's just kind of an interesting subject to me, and I hope it's interesting to you guys out there that are listening to find out what's going on down under the water. It's kind of, sort of like you want to know what's going on within your body. You got to go, you got to go to somebody who is a specialist. Well, I'd like to know what's going on in the body of water out there. We got, water on three sides of this state. We should be very concerned about our water. So, good news in the water too, by the way. Yeah, very good news with regard to more movement towards more responsible people. Those of you who are not in Florida, because we're internet-based, and I have quite a few of you that are around the states. Here in Florida, we've had some people who have been relatively irresponsible, to say the least, about how they're handling the drainage of our lake here in Florida, and we've had an
water
issue.
Management system, yes, and they all got fired.
Yep, and we've had a serious issue here, and so far, fortunately, the new man in charge has said, "I don't think you gentlemen have done a good job. I'd like to see your resignations," and he's pretty much stuck to it. So hopefully, we're going to get some more responsible people in there, and we'll start doing things the way it should be. We won't be seeing
this. Well, he's got Congressman Brian Mast sort of heading up that issue. Brian Mast is someone I've talked to on several occasions regarding the river. He lives on the water.
Oh, okay. Well, perfect candidate. Yeah.
Try to play in the water, so he is absolutely involved in the problem and wants it rectified immediately. I think you're going to see some differences in the way they let the water out of Okeechobee from now on, and how much water they keep in Lake Okeechobee in the wet months, so that they don't have to drain off everything all at once in the heat of summer when it's full of algae. So I think that's going to change immediately, which will help us immediately. And then in the long run, the reservoir and the other stuff will take place. But there has to be a short-term fix, because the project will take probably 10 years to complete. So there has to be some short-term
I agree.
Situations to take care of some other stuff. So.
To expect it to be any different and continue doing the same thing, that would be the definition of insanity.
Yes.
Keep doing the same thing, but expect a different outcome. Go look up insanity in the dictionary. That's what it says. Keep doing the same thing. And expect a different outcome.
If not, it should. So
I don't know if I had read an article that there were fracking here in Florida. Did you hear that? There was a fracking
I believe
well.
They were. He also, I don't know if you noticed that in the news yesterday, our new governor put an end to that too.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Oh my gosh. No, for real. 'Cause that's just like a dream for me. He stopped it?
Yep. He wrote an order requesting it be cease and desist on the fracking in Florida. So.
Oh, wow. Wow, that made my day, Robert. Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm glad I brought that up. Well, because I have suspicion that a lot of the damage that was done was that well leaked into Lake Okeechobee, and then it carried itself on out through the east and the west coast with them draining it.
Well, they've done enough testing to know where the real problem is, and the real problem has a lot of money.
Unfortunately. How many times do we hear about it?
And the new administration doesn't seem to care. They pretty much already told them, I don't want your money. We got to fix a problem. So
yeah, well, thank
we're
God.
We're gonna all fix it together, or you guys will perish, one or the other. So.
Well, thank God. I that's really some of the best news I've heard in a while that you just gave me. That they're going to stop that, because I'm totally against that. People, if you look into what that does to the environment, it is so damaging to the environment. I just don't understand us sometimes as human beings. We're supposed to be the brightest species on the planet, yet we sit there and destroy the very thing that gives us life sometimes. It's just crazy. For money. For money, my goodness. You're not going to be able to eat your money, you greedy people, you. There's going to come a day when you're not going to, that's all you're going to have left is your money. You'll have cut down all the trees. You'll have ruined all the rivers and the oceans, and the only thing left will be your gold and your money. You're going to be able to eat that? That's the kind of stuff that
you get to live in a bubble.
Yeah, the kind of stuff that, really, it just drives me crazy. Anyway, I'm getting ready to take a break. Before we go, Robert, I want to say thank you so much for taking the time to call in. Parting words, let the people know, how do they reach you, and where do they reach you at?
They will find us at www.flfishmag.com. If you've got anything to send in, articles, ads, reports, anything for the magazine, send those to pages@flfishmag.com. We thank you, and you guys have a great week.
God bless you, my friend. Thank you so much.
All righty.
You're listening to the Fish Florida Show with your host, Riskella. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
Do you need toner for your Epson, Hewlett-Packard, Canon, Brother, Apple, or Sharp printers? Look no further than Laser Technologies. In business for over 20 years, they offer the lowest prices on toner on the web. They can also repair your laser printers and toners fast and easy. Call their expert staff today at 561-792-9600 or email us at service@laser-technologies.com for all your toner needs. All toner is shipped nationwide. Why wait? Get the lowest prices on toner. Call or email us today.
Grace has some pretty stellar arms, like Serena Williams good, but her face is pretty disgusting.
Someone please tell him to go back into his closet and leave us alone.
Britney's face is so stupid, and I hate her so much. It's like a scientist created her in a lab to annoy humanity and didn't even do that good of a job.
Megan reminds me of a troll doll that came to life intent on killing us with her stupidity.
Why is Grace's head so big? It definitely has nothing to do with how smart she is, and probably everything to do with how bloated she is.
He's so funny. Just kidding. Who would find this disfigured flamingo funny?
Never post a selfie of yourself. You look so ugly.
The only reason you have so many views is because we think you're a freak and we can't look away.
Megan is the main reason that the world sucks so much.
I would rather get cancer than listen to another Trevor Moran song.
You are a mistake. You should have never been born.
Drown yourself in a shallow puddle, please.
Wow, I hope she's sterile.
These really stopped being funny a long time ago.
You're so much more than the things that people say about you.
Those people have no right to say cruel things to you to make themselves feel better.
It's okay that you sound different than everyone else.
That's what makes you so special.
We will not tolerate it. We will not tolerate it.
We will not tolerate it.
We will not tolerate it.
Every day, people make me feel like I stand out simply because of the way that I look.
Every day, people make me feel small.
Every day, I face the cruel words of bullying.
And every day, people tell me that I'm brave for enduring this humiliation.
But we're not the brave ones.
It's the ones that say no to the bullying.
The witnesses.
If we all join together, there's nothing that we can't do. We will no longer be the silent majority.
When we see bullying online,
We will let the world know that we're going to take action with the eye.
Now, when you see online bullying, there's something you can do about it.
Our actions will overpower cruel words.
I am a witness.
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 I am a witness. I am a witness.
There is power in words.
But it's nothing compared to the power of the actions that we put behind our words.
Visit eyewitnessbullying.org to learn more.
I am a witness, and so are you.
I'm gonna stand by you.
This station is now the ultimate power in the universe.
We have ignition. Strap in. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I grab my fishing pole and cast it in the water. I fish until dawn. Oh my, I caught a shark. I'm fishing it on. When the sun shines all day. They call me a grouper. So I'm fishing it on. Oh yeah.
It's the Fish Florida Show with your host, Riscala Stevens, bringing the outdoors to you every Sunday morning, 8 to 10 a.m. And now your host, Riscala Stevens.
All right, folks, we are back. It is the Fish Florida Show. Thank you for taking the time to tune us in and allowing us to share with you the information that we have. And hopefully you find it interesting. I believe many of you do, because our listenership continues to grow. And I want to thank each and every one of you for doing that, because without the word of mouth, most of this has been done through word of mouth. Without that word of mouth, without that help from all of you out there, we wouldn't be where we are today. So thank you. I greatly appreciate that. My next guest is Angela. She's also known as the Florida Salty Cowgirl. And I believe she's down in the Keys this morning. Let me just kind of verify that. Good morning, Miss Angela.
Good morning, Riscala. How are you?
I'm doing really well now that you're here.
Great. Yeah, last weekend was terrible weather, and thank goodness we finally have gotten the winds to calm down. And today, tomorrow, and Tuesday look like the best days to go fishing down here in the Keys that we've seen in a month. So everybody's excited. I think everybody's loaded and gone today, and planning on being out tomorrow and Tuesday too. So we're going to take advantage of the time that we've got. But yes, weather's finally calmed down for us.
I was reading the marine report for our area up here. I'm a lot further north than you, and they were saying the seas are going to be about 2 feet. These are the kind of days that I used to dream about when I had my boat. We would go down to Amarada, and we'd put out at a place called Papa Joe's. I don't even know if it's there anymore. And we'd head out to the lighthouse, and that would be our reference point. We'd head due east to the lighthouse, and my goodness, we would always have such a good time out there, because it would be like being on a puddle. It would just be so calm, so serene. So are you going to go out today?
Absolutely. Wouldn't miss it.
I didn't.
Are you kidding me? After going through withdrawal for a month?
Yeah.
Of course, I haven't taken a month because I'll withstand a little more than most people. But yeah, it's not fun when it's sloppy out there. So, but yes, and on top of that, Riscala, the fishing has been fantastic. The winter fish are definitely coming in. I'm sure that you've heard and seen that the wahoo are coming in nice. They're coming in big. They're out there and they're catching them. Kingfish are also coming in really nice, and the tuna are coming in the bucket load. So the offshore fishing has been fantastic. And then the reef fishing has been well, too. Reef fishing has been some really great sized muttons, really good sized snappers, yellowtails, and of course, they're out of season, so the groupers are coming in beautiful.
That figure.
So they always do as soon as they go out of season. So, but yes, fishing's been great. Couple of days of good weather, so people in the Keys are happy for a few days.
You know why that the groupers do that? Because fish go to school. They're schools of fish. They're educated, so you know that.
I completely agree.
Seasons. The season's out, you guys. Everybody show. Hey, come on over.
I couldn't agree more, because you can't catch one in December, but January 1st you'll catch your PB every single time, so.
Wow. Hey, I was speaking with Robert Warner with the Florida Fisherman Magazine earlier, and he was describing an issue with sailfish. Anything about sailfish down there where you're at?
I was actually listening, and the sailfish have not been coming in. Like he said, a lot of those boats from the tournaments will come in flying 30 flags. 15 is not uncommon, and the numbers have been a little lower than normal. They're coming in down there, and they're coming in regularly. And some of the boats, of course, target them a little bit better than others, and they're catching them, and they're catching them daily. But they're not coming in with the thick numbers. So I agree with Robert there. They didn't completely disappear on us, but they definitely have thinned out. And I've seen more smaller ones than ever before, some really small 30-pounders. But hey, a 30-pound sailfish is a good day. But yes, they're still coming in down there.
It's a lot of fun, that's for sure.
A lot of fun. A lot of fun.
Your opinion as to what may be happening with regard to the sailfish. He feels that it has to do with the fronts coming through. It may have confused them. And
I couldn't agree with Robert more.
Yeah?
Yes. The Florida fish are even more, in my opinion, I should start that with, the Florida fish act even funnier when weather comes through because they're not used to those really cold fronts. And it kind of puts them in a little shock, I think.
Yeah, good point.
But it definitely changes their behavior, their migratory patterns, where they'll go, where they will hole up, what they'll bite. It even changes that, believe it or not.
I didn't think about that.
It'll change because it'll change what type of bait's running. So it'll change what they'll chase after if you've got trolling lines out. But yes, cold weather will change everything for us, and it will definitely take the bite and just make it disappear. If the cold weather comes in really fast, overnight, you'll lose your bite for a few days sometimes.
Wow.
So I completely agree with Robert. Weather has a lot to do with it, if not most of what to do with it.
I find it very intriguing how I think it was Pam that told me. She's trying to get on this morning, my friend. She's in an area where they're having cellular phone issues, so it's difficult for her to get on. But I think it was Pam that told me the barometric pressure, I think is what it's called. When that changes, it makes a big difference in the activity of the fish and how they act. So you agree with that as well?
Absolutely. That's a fact. The fish feel that barometric pressure way more than we do. They know when a storm is coming through. You know how people will make little stories about, the tsunamis and when you see the birds offline inland. Yeah. The fish knew the hurricanes and the storms are coming through way before we do. So yes, the barometric pressure has a lot to do with it. They know those storms and those fronts are coming through for somehow. Don't ask me how. I wish I knew. They're better than our weathermen. I tell you that much.
I've heard.
But yes, they will
stories.
definitely hold up. They will definitely go to their different areas that they do when it's cold. And like Robert said, if we could find out where that is, then that'd be like winning the lottery. So.
So I don't think I asked you this morning. Where are you down? I know you're in the Keys. Where are you down in the Keys?
I'm in Isla Mirada. I'm right on Tavernier Creek.
Oh, all right. And is Papa Joe's still there? Or is it gone?
I've never heard of it, Riscala. So
this is going back this is kind of showing my age, going back quite a few years. But it used to be right across from. Is Bud and Mary still down there?
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah, it was
brand
right across.
New and beautiful.
Literally right across the street from Bud and Mary's. It was
I do not believe it's still there.
Yeah, it was one of the few places that had a relatively decent boat ramp for someone like me. I had a 24-foot Wellcraft, and some of the boat ramps they would be so steep that I would be afraid to put my boat in. He had a very gentle incline, and that's primarily why we use them. And we went right up the channel, right up to the lighthouse, and we used the lighthouse as a reference point from that point forward. I really miss those days. Beautiful water down there, and anything that you're seeing. Well, before I ask you that, how long have you been doing this?
I have been down in the Keys full time for almost 3 years now. But how long have I been fishing? As long as I can remember. Yeah. Before the Keys, I was on the central west coast of Florida. Primarily, I was fishing out of Lake Clearwater Beach. Mm-hmm. So that type of Central Florida area.
Since you've had that experience of the the Gulf side and the Atlantic side. Is there a vast difference in the way that you do things between the two?
Absolutely. So vast that I wouldn't have believed it if I didn't experience it myself.
Wow.
Even when I lived and worked full time there in Central Florida, I worked on the head boats there. So, you know, we were very much snapper and grouper type trips, but a lot of bottom fishing. But I would go to the East Coast and take trips to go fishing just for the difference in the fish. That was enough, you know, to pique my interest. But everything's different. The way you fish is different. The laws are different. The legal sizes and limits are different, so you have to be very careful. And I'll tell you a funny thing. I thought I was very, very confident in my grouper catching skills when I left the Gulf Coast of Florida. I could catch grouper all day long. I'd been doing it for years, and I had it down to a science. And I came down very confident to the Keys. I couldn't catch a grouper to save my life. I had to relearn how to grouper fish. So is the fishing very different? Yes, absolutely. Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, I think the East Coast, West Coast, and then even down in the Keys is a little different yet again because you get more of a tropical feel. The coral reef makes it very different. A lot of different life down there. So, but yes, the fishing is completely different.
I think of, you know, fishing in my life's experience was a way for our family to do something as a family together. It was like a family outing. And fortunately, as I look back at it now, fortunately, my mom was one of those ladies who loved fishing, everything about it. Didn't bother her to get her fingers smelly or touch the fish or any of that stuff.
Good mom.
And as a result of that, my dad would take us typically 3 times in a month. We would go somewhere. Sometimes we'd go down to the Keys and fish off the bridges. Sometimes we would go over to Naples and we'd fish off Naples, where the pier is. We'd go fishing off of the pier. I never, ever considered the difference between fishing on this side of the state and the other side of the state. To me, I guess because I was younger as well, fishing was just, give me some bait and let me throw some, let me throw some bait
throw
in the water.
it out there and see what hits it, right?
Yeah. But, you know, that, of course, that was quite some time ago. But since that time, I've learned so much. And one of the things I repeatedly say about this show, one of the things I enjoy about doing this show, I'm always learning, constantly learning. You just taught me something. I never considered that there was a vast difference between the two. In talking to you this morning, it just kind of came to mind, I wonder how much of a difference there is between the two.
You know, I make comments all the time, Scholar, to people, and I don't care how much you fished, because if you think about the world being covered 70% with water, and the amounts of fish that are in it in all of the different areas of the world that are just fishing meccas, you could fish every single day of your life and never really even scratch the surface of what there's out there to know. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's why people kind of specialize in different areas because, wow, all encompassing, it's just, it's a lot to fathom. But yes, fishing's a little bit different everywhere. I communicate on social media with people in different parts of the world, and they'll have the same exact kind of fish that we have. They'll have kingfish, and they'll have barracuda, and they'll have amberjack. But not only do they look a little different, but they also, too, act different. They fish differently for them. They use different bait. So I find it very interesting how the fish act around the world. It's crazy.
Wow. Now, before I forget, if people, I think you're a guide, right? Forgive me if I'm wrong, but
I am.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
I thought you were. I wasn't sure. So if people want some information about what you do, let's get that information out there. How do they do that?
They can go to Florida Salty Cowgirl on Facebook, or they can go to floridasaltycowgirl.com, or they can reach me at floridasaltycowgirl@gmail.com. And if anyone's interested in the Islamorada charter, it's just wonderful down there. If you've never been down there, you've got to go.
Yeah, it is. I truly do miss the water down there. It was one of the places where, to me, the water was so clear and just all of the sea life that easily found. It's not one of those places that it's sparse. There's plenty of stuff going on.
No, there's turtles and rays that pop right up beside your boat, and dolphins following you out. It is very beautiful. Right now we have the manatees in, and they're always a lot of fun. And yes, you definitely don't have to look far for the sea life down there.
Angela, I want to thank you so much for taking the time to call in. I'm up against a break. Any parting words before we go in? And before I do that, I just want to say I'd like to have you back again. I used to have somebody that was down in the Keys that kind of gave us, what was going on down in the Keys, and they've gone on to do something else, so they're not even in the same business anymore. So I'd like to have you on, every once in a while, kind of let us know what's going on down in the Keys. Would that be okay?
It would be my pleasure, Escala. Absolutely.
Well, thank you. I greatly appreciate that. So I'm up against a break, but before I do, any parting words for the listeners?
No, actually, I'd love to tell everybody, if you have never been down fishing to the Keys and you are an avid fisherman, I highly recommend it. It's definitely got to be on your bucket list. It's a definite experience that you have to go.
You will not regret it. I promise you.
You will not regret it. And thank you so much for having me on this morning, Riscala.
It's an honor and a privilege, my friend. Thank you so much. I'm glad you're okay. I was a little concerned about you last week, but I'm glad everything worked out for you.
No worries. And tight lines to everybody out there. Get fishing today.
Thank you, ma'am. Don't go away, my friends. We will be right back.
Being a dad is an adventure full of special moments.
A cruise!
Surprise! Unexpected moments.
I got this.
And even awkward moments.
Okay, Dad, thank you.
But every moment you spend with your kids, even the smallest moments, can make the biggest impact on your child's life. So take a moment to be a dad today.
There's a lot of fear in coming back to school. I wasn't sure if I could do it. I'm a 40-year-old man that walked in there to get his high school diploma. It was very hard for me, but the teachers, the counselors, they help you. One of the teachers was Miss Araceli. Miss Araceli, she gave me direction. Every single time I had a question, she'll put down whatever she's doing and she'll come over and she'll sit there with you until you get it.
Thank you, Miss Araceli. I know you make a difference in people's lives because of the person and teacher you are. I wanted to be here because I wanted to thank you for helping me get a beautiful gift.
50% of getting your high school diploma is walking through those doors. The other 50% is doing the work. Getting your high school diploma, it is a life-changing experience. It really is.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
Have you ever heard of Audible? Audible is a website with hundreds of thousands of audiobooks. They're all high quality, easy to listen to, and, best of all, if you take advantage of a special deal that we've worked out for you, you can get one for free. That's right, a free audiobook of your choice in any genre, simply by going to audibletrial.com/openeyes and signing up for the free trial. It's simple to do, and it would support the shows that we bring to you, and hey, you get a free book out of the whole thing. So why not take advantage of it today? Go to audibletrial.com/openeyes and sign up for the trial.
Ask 10 different scientists about the environment, population control, genetics, and you'll get 10 different answers. But there's one thing every scientist on the planet agrees on. Whether it happens in 100 years, or 1,000 years, or 1,000,000 years, eventually our sun will grow cold and go out. When that happens, it won't just take us. It'll take Marilyn Monroe, and Lao Tzu, and Einstein, and Morobuto, and Buddy Holly, and Aristophanes. All of this was for nothing. Unless we go to the stars.
Do you need toner for your Epson, Hewlett-Packard, Canon, Brother, Apple, or Sharp printers? Look no further than Laser Technologies. In business for over 20 years, they offer the lowest prices on toner on the web. They can also repair your laser printers and toners fast and easy. Call their expert staff today at 561-792-9600 or email us at service@laser-technologies.com for all your toner needs. All toner is shipped nationwide. Why wait? Get the lowest prices on toner. Call or email us today.
While other stations just talk a good game, we win it.
Hey, sounds like somebody's having a lot of fun. I grab my fishing pole and cast it in the water. I fish until dawn. Oh my, I caught a shark. I'm fishing and blowing on when the sun shines all day. They call me a grouper. Fishing and blowing on. Oh yeah.
It's the Fish Florida Show with your host, Riscala Stevens, bringing the outdoors to you every Sunday morning, 8 to 10 a.m. And now your host, Riscala Stevens.
All right, we are back. Miss Pam, my co-host, is missing his action. God bless her. She's always so gracious about sharing her time with us and helping me to do the show in the morning. I believe she's just in an area where she's having cell phone issues. She talked about the possibility of being in an area where cell phone reception may have been sparse, and that's possibly what is happening to her this morning. So if you're listening, if you're able to hear any part of it, Pam, we miss you. I hope you can call in later, but I'm glad that you're okay. So my next guest, hopefully we'll hear from her in just a few minutes. I had asked Betty Bowman to give me a call this morning. Betty is with Ladies Let's Go Fishing. I enjoy having Betty on because she takes the time out to work with other ladies and educate them in a variety of aspects that can literally change their lives. It's not just about fishing. It's about the lessons that you learn while you're doing fishing, and the ability to learn a new skill, and in the process of doing that, learn how that skill can actually help you in life itself. So hopefully we'll hear from her in just a few minutes. Let's see, what else have we got going on? Peter's going to, hopefully we'll hear from Peter later today. Peter Camarano, he's with JCam Lures. I enjoy having people like Peter on for many reasons. One, he's a brother in arms. He's a veteran like I am. Two, he is somebody that works with his hands, who makes something out of nothing, takes parts and puts them together, and the next thing you know, he got a beautiful lure. Has had tremendously successful results. One of his testimonies is Mike Simcoe. Mike's been on the show. If you've listened, Mike's been on the show several times. And Mike has given Peter a testimony. And the other thing is that it's a small business. I am a big supporter of small businesses. I'm a big supporter of family-oriented things. Small businesses normally, generally speaking, support a family. You're not helping a vice president or a president buy his third or fourth home somewhere. You're actually helping a family go through what is needed for life, whether that is food on the table, clothing, roof over their heads, whatever that might be. You're helping a family. The majority of the time, again, it's not every one of them, but the majority of the time. And small businesses, in my opinion, have really what this country has made this country what it is. If it weren't for the small businesses doing their part, it certainly wouldn't be an America that would be called a place where people look to come and, the great American dream to have your own home and start your own business. If we weren't successful as small business people, it would be a completely different picture out there. So I'm always eager to support small businesses. A lot of the people that come on with me, you'll find that are in business or small business. Angela is a small business person, family-oriented, local. I've said many times, when you spend money locally with some of these people, much of that money stays in the local area throughout a variety of reasons, but much of the money stays there in that local area. When you spend that same dollar with one of these big corporations, it's not the same picture. It's a completely different thing. So again, it's just one of one of the things that's on my heart is to share it with people, to share the advantage of doing business whenever possible with a smaller business versus a big corporation. You know, I think about my cell phone. My cell phone died last week. And what a frightening thing that was. I don't know how many of you do this with your cell phone, but I have everything in my cell phone. Everything is in my, excuse me, I don't have credit card numbers and things like that. I don't believe in doing that. That's very dangerous because you never know if somebody can steal your cell phone. But I have all my contacts. My gosh, hundreds of contacts. My texts with different guests so I can remember what we talked about. I walk into a room, I go, why did I walk in a room? So, you know, it's like my life revolves around this silly little thing, this piece of technology, and it crashed on me. I mean, when I tell you it crashed, it wouldn't come back on. It would flash for a moment and then not come back on. And I'm thinking to myself, oh my goodness. As a person who has a computer background, how silly of me to do this and not have this thing backed up. So I played with it and I played with it. And I'm telling you, I played with it for like a half an hour. Finally got the phone back up. I got it backed up. As soon as I got it backed up, it crashed again. So I was fortunate to be able to at least save my contacts, but everything else is pretty much gone. My videos, my pictures, and all that. So one of the things that I'll express to you while I'm thinking about it, back up your phone. But in the process of doing that, I had to call out to the people who provide me my cell service. The first time I called in all fairness to them, was relatively short. I only had to wait about 15 minutes. The second time I called in, they were saying that the wait times could be upwards of 45 minutes. And I used the option of leaving my number and asking for a call back. I didn't get a call back for like an hour and a half, so thank goodness that I did that. So my point being is that when you're dealing with a small company, if there were a small company that were offering cell phones, I mean, if they had the whole kit and caboodle, if they own the cell towers and all that, not that they're using somebody else's like some of these other businesses are, then it was a small company. Then you could go to whoever in that small company, you would have your answer right away. It wouldn't be an hour and a half later. You wouldn't have to call numerous times to resolve the issue. Generally speaking, when you're dealing with a small company, they're going to resolve your issue for you quick because they realize that you are the part of their family. You're part of their financial family. Again, it's a general statement, but that's how it is. I'm a small business owner, and that's how I feel about my customers. They are part of my family. Anyway, hopefully we're going to hear from Betty. I had sent her a text and had asked her to call in, but she may be having issues as well, cell phone issues. A couple of my friends who have T-Mobile service told me that they were having issues last night. Let's see. No, don't see her yet. So possibly she'll call in. Hopefully she'll call in. In the meantime, I'm going to play a little song for you. This is a young lady that I met when I was doing AM radio here in West Palm Beach. I was on 900 AM here in West Palm Beach, and very pleasant young lady. This is some of the stuff that makes me look forward to having some of this younger generation come up. Very talented. Very polite. Just couldn't say enough nice things about her. Not only that, but she's got a great voice. Listen to this song. I wanted to use this song as possibly my intro song, but one of the other people that I knew had written, the Fish Florida song was written just for Fish Florida. Anyway, here, have a listen.
This state line looks in my rear view. This highway reminds me of you. This empty seat beside me keeps calling out your name. And the way the taillights keep on shining on that life I left behind me. Every mile, every sign is reminding me why I ain't turning around this time. If you miss me already, ready, steal the keys, tear down his car, baby, come and get me. Slower, but there's no way I'm pulling over, 'cause these wheels, they started rolling and they ain't ever gonna stop. I gas it up, hit the road, got a long way to go, baby, burn the black top. If you miss me already, ready, steal and get me, get me. If you miss me already, ready, steal the keys to your daddy's car, baby, come and get me, get me. I'm just out here chasing stars. I have come this far, and my gypsy heart will show you where I am. Well, I have come this far, and my gypsy heart will show you where I am. So catch me if you can. Catch me if you can. If you can. If you can.
That is Maggie Bow. She's a local here in West Palm Beach, and I believe she's still a teenager. A young, talented lady, very, very, very pleasant to be around. Thank you, Maggie, for the permission to play your song. It's an honor and privilege to be able to have that for you. We're going to take a news break real quick. We're up against the news, doing something a little different this morning, trying it out. Hopefully we'll get some feedback from some of you. We are tapping into the Fox channel and listening to the news. So we're going to take a quick news break, and then we'll be right back with our next guest. Don't go away.
Refusing to resign. I'm Pam Puso, Fox News. Virginia Governor Ralph Northam is hoping to weather a political firestorm. He is resisting widespread calls to step aside. The Democrat is also denying being one of the people in a picture featured in his medical school yearbook. The photo, dating back to 1984, features one person in a KKK hood and another in blackface.
There is no way that I have ever been in a KKK uniform. I am not the person in that uniform, and I am not the person to the right.
Northam does admit wearing blackface when he dressed as Michael Jackson during a dance contest that same year, something he says he regrets. A standoff between a barricaded suspect and police has left an Ohio sheriff's deputy dead. Another officer is hurt. Officials in Claremont County say the 10-hour ordeal is ongoing. We're 2 days away from President Trump's State of the Union speech. He's expected to highlight the crisis at our southern border as lawmakers work to negotiate a bill to keep the government open.
President Trump has said that those bipartisan negotiations, that bipartisan conference committee who is negotiating on Capitol Hill to try to come up with some sort of border security package that the president will sign by February 15th. He has said those talks at this point are proving to be a waste of time. The president has said on multiple occasions that he is prepared to declare a national emergency in the event a deal is not reached.
That's Fox's Ellison Barber. Hoping to turn a page in Christian-Muslim relations, Pope Francis, who's heading to the Arabian Peninsula.
The Vatican says the Pope's 3-day visit to the United Arab Emirates will focus on dialogue between religions and peace. He'll take part in a conference and hold an open-air mass expected to be attended by more than 130,000 people.
That's Fox's Simon Owen in our European Bureau. This is Fox News. Another Democrat officially kicking off her presidential campaign. During a rally in Honolulu yesterday, Congresswoman Tulsi Gabbard of Hawaii highlighted her military service.
The president's most important responsibility is to serve as commander-in-chief. I will do so as a soldier who understands the seriousness of this responsibility.
Gabbard, who was a fierce opponent of same-sex marriage when she served in the state legislature in her 20s, has since disavowed those views and now professes support for LGBTQ rights. She joins an already crowded field of Democratic candidates. Hard to believe, but 1 year from today, we'll have our first election results.
The Democratic National Committee has set the Iowa caucuses, the first-in-the-nation contest, for February 3rd, 2020. The list of Democrats running for president has already hit double digits and is expected to continue growing over the next few months. A strong finish in Iowa has proven valuable. Hillary Clinton narrowly defeated Bernie Sanders 4 years ago before capturing the Democratic nomination. President Obama won Iowa in a crowded field in 2008. President George W. Bush was the last Republican to win the Iowa caucuses and his party's nomination. Neither John McCain, Mitt Romney, nor President Trump won the Iowa Iowa caucuses. In Washington, Jared Halpern, Fox News.
Hours away from the big game in Atlanta, where the New England Patriots will meet the Los Angeles Rams in the Super Bowl.
Patriots QB Tom Brady, no stranger to this stage, entering his 9th Super Bowl appearance of his storied career, looking to guide the Pats to an NFL record-tying 6th Vince Lombardi trophy. For the Rams, quarterback Jared Goff heads into the big game in just his 3rd year under center for Los Angeles, trying to guide the Rams to their first Super Bowl win in nearly 2 decades, and their first while being based out of L.A.
That's Fox's Matt Napolitano in Atlanta. I'm Pam Huso. This is Fox News.
I grab my fishing pole and cast it in the water. I fish until dawn. Oh my, I caught a shark. I'm fishing and blowing on when the sun shines all day. Call me a grouper. I'm fishing and blowing on. Oh yeah.
It's the Fish Florida Show with your host, Riscala Stevens, bringing the outdoors to you every Sunday morning, 8 to 10 a.m. And now your host, Riscala Stevens.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. My co-host is MIA this morning. I'm just kind of teasing her. She's having cell phone issues. So normally I would have Pam Worth with me, helping me co-host the show. Pam is one of the top female kayak anglers here in Florida. She did warn me ahead of time that she may be in an area where it's kind of sparse, and I'm sure that's what's happened this morning. In the meantime, I kind of missed Betty there, so I see Betty has called back in. I'm going to unmute her real quick. And good morning, Betty.
Hi.
I kind of missed your slot there. I don't know what happened. Maybe we had a cross up in our wires, but I did want to give you the opportunity, give you a minute or two to come back on, and because I love what you do. I love that you spend time with other ladies and training them and helping them and educating them, and it helps in different aspects of their life. So I want to give you a minute or two. You are with an organization that I truly believe in, and the name of the organization I love. So what's the name of the organization?
It's Ladies Let's Go Fishing.
Couldn't be any better than that.
The No Yelling School.
And what's the latest? What's the latest update with you?
Well, we just announced a trip to Treasure Key, Abaco, Bahamas, and we
Wow.
added a cooking school. I think I mentioned that last time. We're getting ready for a full schedule. It's all on our website,
And the website is what?
LadiesLet'sGoFishing.com.
Yeah, couldn't make it any easier than that. I apologize. I don't know what happened with the timing, but we were.
Yeah, I had some difficulties.
Oh,
Sorry
okay.
about that.
All right. No, as long as as long as everything's okay on your end, that's fine with me. Thank you for taking the time to call in, Betty. I'll do it again. I'm always interested in having you back on for many reasons, and I truly love what you do. Thank you for your the work that you do with the other people as well. Wish you a wonderful day. And by the way, before I go, I think you're down in South Florida.
Yes.
Beautiful day as well, right?
Yes, it is.
It is a day to get out today. If you're going to get out, today's the day to do it, people. Thank you, Betty. Greatly appreciate it. God bless you. Wish you a wonderful day, my dear.
Thanks. Sorry about that.
Oh, no worries. I'm glad that everything's okay.
Okay.
Bye-bye. Bye. All right, my next guest, Peter Camarano. I talked a little bit about Peter earlier and some of the reasons I like Peter so much. Peter, good morning. Welcome to the show, sir. You there, Peter? I can't hear you. If you're there, my friend.
All right. Okay.
There,
Are we there?
There we go. There he is, ladies and
Okay,
gentlemen.
All right. Good morning. Morning. How's everybody doing?
We're doing pretty good, my friend. I was telling the listeners about Pam. Pam is in an area where she's having cell phone reception issues, so normally I would have her on with me, and she would be saying good morning to you as well. But she's trying to call in. She's in a sparse area out there.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what we have right now up in the Palm Beach areas. Finally, we've gotten rid of that cold. It's actually quite comfortable, clear day and so on. Now we just need the water to cease to lay down. Supposedly that's going to happen over the beginning of the week. And we're safe weather-wise until the end of this week. Obviously, got to get it bad for the weekend. But,
yeah. But it is a gorgeous day. It's an absolutely gorgeous day. I was giving out the marine report earlier. They're expecting the winds to be at 5 knots or less.
Right.
Seas are going to be around 2 feet. It's one of those days, if you're thinking about going out there, today's the day to do it, my friends.
Absolutely. Now, what we're also doing, we're getting into the season of fishing tournaments. They're starting to ramp up. The first one happens in it's a couple 3 weeks. In March. Yeah, beginning of March, and that's Naked Warrior KDW. That's then followed by the Boynton Beach Volunteer Fire Department chili cook-off. And interesting point on that. There are a lot of good chili cook-off teams around, but nobody does Italian chili. So
Italian
J.K.M.
chili.
Lures, J.K.M. Lures is the corporate sponsor, but Giacomo's Pizzeria Italian chili. We're coming. The cook and the owner, Giacomo, coming up with a recipe
My
that's
goodness.
going to be Italian based, just to go ahead, have a little fun, get some joy. Anyway, we are the number one in the state of Florida Italian chili cook-off. Okay, of course we're the only one, but that's okay.
In my mind, I remember my mom was, growing up, I didn't think it was a big deal. My mom spoke 5 languages. My dad spoke 7, but when she would whip the Italian out, I knew that we were in serious trouble, So and I'm thinking that, her saying one of her Italian, I called him my uncle, but he really wasn't my uncle. It's just one of those things. But he had this heavy Italian accent. I can see him saying, "Hey, what's the matter? You don't like my chili?"
Well, no, what got me about growing up was my mom, 5 foot by 5 foot. Okay, she didn't know a thing about American football, but I'll tell you what. With that wooden spoon, she could catch you on a wire and hit you right in the middle.
Oh
of the
boy,
back.
do I remember those days? That's it.
It just brings back good memories. But we're also from the JCAM side. We have come up with or developing a new line to supplement what we already have. We will wind up being able to offer the angler from a small trolling lure. Everything will be trolling. Small lure in the 1 ounce, 2 ounce range. Custom made sea witches. We've taken our skirts and instead of splitting them, we're blending colors, and it's just opening up a whole avenue and that we had not expected, and the public is receiving it quite well.
I said earlier about Mike Simcoe. Mike has given testimony that he totally, wholeheartedly supports your lures and has had a tremendous success using your lures. So before I forget about it, Peter, because I'm one of those, like I said earlier, I walk in the room and go, what am I doing here? If people are interested in what it is, first of all, before we do that, Peter is a small business owner. He makes all of his lures, and correct me if I'm wrong, makes all of his lures with the different components made in USA. This is not somebody who's having something made in China, shipped over here, and then selling it to you. This is something that is made here from scratch in the USA. Is that correct, Pete?
Exactly. Yes. Mm-hmm.
And if people want to find more information about you, because this thought will flee my mind and I'll forget. Is it jcamlures.com? Is that the site?
jcamfishing.com.
Okay, so it's J Cam CAMM.
CAMM is in Mary. Yes.
Yeah, two M's and then fishing.com.
That's right. Exactly.
Okay, is there a phone number they can call in case they want to call you?
Absolutely. 561-502-7022.
Okay.
I would prefer that your listeners would call me direct and let me know that they heard about JCAM on this show.
Yeah, please. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this way we know that our anglers are coming from what you're doing.
Yeah. Cool. So I want to get back to all of these fishing tournaments that are coming up now. I think you said the first one's coming up in March. What's coming up after that?
All right. The next one then would be in April. Now, what I'd like to, if you think it would be of an interest, what I'd like to do is put together a complete for the Palm Beach area. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to go ahead and put together a complete calendar that will give you the name, the dates, and contact information, the websites. Because when you look at the contribution that these tournaments contribute, there's one that I cannot tell you how much I respect is Chasing Tails. It's a KDW
yes,
that is in September.
That's summer?
That's Summer Warren.
Yeah.
Yes. And you go down from working with kids with severe disabilities to animal rescue and the gamut in between. And besides that, the contribution to the community, to the economic base of the community. Let's just say we mentioned, all right, there's one in July, Big Dog Fat Cat. It's for animal rescue. 220 boats last year.
Wow.
All right, now, I have talked with a lot of anglers, I'm sure Pam would confirm this, that the average cost to participate in this tournament, in a fishing tournament, can range anywhere from the low side of $1,000 up to $1,500 per tournament without any travel. Now that counts all expenses from bait, entry fees, and so on. Now, take 100 boats, okay? And let's just say that $150. 100 boats. Aren't we talking $150,000 for that tournament for a contribution?
If there are 150 boats and we're talking roughly 1,000 a boat?
Right.
Yeah.
That's
$100,000. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Absolutely.
A direct contribution to the economy. Now, so let's go ahead, take the Boynton Beach Fire Department. Another 100 plus, okay? There's another 150. Summer Warren, there's another 150. All of a sudden, we're starting to look at $750,000, and we're not counting the small terms, $750,000 to $1 million between April, March, and September as a contribution to the local economy.
Everybody wins. See, that's the kind of stuff I like. Everybody benefits in some way, shape, or form. That's really that's the best thing that we can do for each other.
Mm-hmm. And many of these are 501c charitable organizations, so you've got tax write-offs also.
Again, it's a win-win situation. This is why I try to so hard to promote small businesses, because generally, again, it's a generalized statement, but when you're dealing with a small business, both sides win, because the small business owner knows that they need you in order for them to succeed, and then the customer knows that they want whatever product it is. So there's an issue there. Generally speaking, it's resolved very quickly. We're not dealing with a lot of time to go by. You get your answer right away, and most of the time, the customer is happy because of the importance each individual customer is to a small business. It's a completely different way. To me, that's what America's about.
No, you hit the nail right on the head. Absolutely.
So you've been doing lures for a little while now, just a couple of days, I think, right?
I'm sorry?
You've been doing lures for just a couple of days. I'm being facetious.
Yeah, a couple of days. Now, it started out as a hobby, just to keep busy. And then about 4 years ago, it transcended from a hobby to a business. So now it keeps me busy. We're not a big company. We do not compare ourselves with Islander, Black Bart, Moldcraft, any of those. But I will tell you this, put us in this situation, put us in the spread, we will be competitive. And we have several tournament wins under our belt also. So I can look anyone in the eye and say, all right, let's go, put it on the line. I'm willing to. But anyway, it all, from the time, like I think, going back 2003, 2005, when I kind of pulled out the old drawings, molds, and so on, and redid them. And from there, we've gone from a single 2-ounce head to a wide range. And you mentioned Mike Simcoe. Mike is very much a design and technical mentor to me.
Oh, really?
I'll go to him and we'll talk. And Mike, I've got this in mind. and we'll bounce it back and forth.
Wow.
Maybe do a prototype to see whatever. And so if Mike gives me advice, I do listen to him because of his standing in the industry and him as an individual.
I'm curious, I learned a lot from Mike. I can't think of the right word. Anyway, I didn't know anything about. I thought kite fishing was something that was kind of silly. I was just, ignorant. I didn't really know any better. I've learned quite a bit from Mike and how sophisticated it can be. And Mike has spoken, I think, a couple of times, if I'm not mistaken, very highly of your lures. Once he found out that you were going to be on the show, he completely supported, the lures, and I didn't realize that you and him collaborated with each other regarding the manufacturing.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that's great because he always brings. I enjoy having all these different guests on because they bring their unique perspective to the table, allowing the listener a wide variety of information so they can pick and choose what they want. They might find this interesting and something else absolutely boring. So it gives them an idea and a wide variety of things to choose from. And Mike has spoken about your lures on a couple of occasions very highly, that he's had good success with them.
Well, I'll have to make sure I send him his commission check. No, I appreciate his support, really. And people like him have been significant in where we've been and where we're going.
Now, I don't know if you were listening earlier, but I also had Angela on today. That's someone else that Peter has worked with and helped. Angela makes her own lures, right? Doesn't Angela make her own lures? Yeah. And I'm sure that she wasn't able to do that. Or let me back up a minute. I'm sure that when she did that, with your help, it was a lot easier having your experience on hand versus trying to do it from scratch.
Well, I appreciate that.
So I'm always interested in people who reach out to other people, Peter, and you're one of them. We're both veterans, and I thank you for your service. But I find that you reach out to other people to help them, and I'm grateful for people like you. I really am, I truly am grateful because we need more of that today. People like Betty Bowman, she goes out of her way to help other ladies. Do you know Betty? Are you?
Oh yeah. Betty's, when she runs one of her programs, she'll have skill stations where people can go from spot to spot and just talk about and learn about things that are of interest to them. And Betty will have a qualified lady angler doing that skill station.
Wow.
She'll allow a man to do it until she finds somebody that she can go ahead and.
She never told me that. I didn't realize that, but I do know.
No, she did. And she is a big supporter of women and ladies in the fishing industry. People need to understand that as this industry continues, women and children have a bigger and a more significant effect now than they've had, say, 5 years ago. So if we're gonna make this sport expand, we've got to recognize them, and there are some tremendous lady anglers. Take a look at Pam, okay? She's kayak tournament fishing,
right?
But involved with that, we've got Summer Warren, and that is a well-respected tournament director. You've got Angela, who is a master captain and charter captain. So taking a look at that from all aspects of the industry, look at the tournaments. So where you've got lady anglers are taking down prizes. You'll find a lot of tournament boats will have a lady angler to participate in that category.
I'm seeing more and more of it. Maybe because it's been brought to my attention. It's one of those things where you go out and you buy a car, and all of a sudden you notice that car is the same car, the same model all over the road. So maybe it's because it was brought to my attention. But I am seeing more and more, apparently to me anyway, more and more interest by females in a what seems to be, again, it's my personal opinion, what seems to be a male-dominated industry, more and more women are coming in. And some of them, like Pam, put them to shame. Put them to shame. They can really outdo some of these guys. So to me, it's a great thing. I think everybody benefits. For me, in my life's experience, it was a family thing. Unfortunately, I've said many times, my mom enjoyed fishing, so we did it as a family. And I think it was one of the things that we did, a very, very powerful thing that we did, because we all experienced the same thing at the same time. It helped the bonds of the family stay together, because there's a direct attack on the family. There's a direct attack that's been going on for a long time. Anything that we can do to hold our families together that is, immoral and legal, and putting down the X boxes and picking up the tackle boxes, that kind of thing.
Now, just one more point about showing the effect of women and children on our sport fishing industry.
Sure.
Do you remember when the boats, center console, if you needed a restroom type of function, it was a bucket?
Mm-hmm.
Now you've got the enclosed heads and showers. And I think that is, ladies not going to go ahead and say, I'm going to turn my back. And
right.
I don't mean to be crude or anything, but that is a fact.
Yeah.
That does help
bring
our children and family in close with the industry. And you go to tournaments now, a lot of them, they're family oriented. There's things for the kids to do. I've seen one where there's the guys are fishing. If the women don't want to be, there's fashion shows and tours and things along those lines. So, I agree with you. We've come a long, long way.
Whatever we can do to help the family stay together, I'm all for that. That's just one of my passions. Well, Peter, I'm up against a break. Before we go, your parting words, my friend.
Well, I just want to, seriously, I appreciate the time to be able to speak with you, Riscala, and your audience. I consider it an honor. I have a great deal of respect for what you are trying to do and what you are doing with the industry and the people involved. I thank you again and look forward to the next time we talk.
Me too, my friend. God bless you. It's a two-way street. I feel the same about you. Wish you a wonderful day.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
You're listening to the Fish Florida Show with your host, Riscala. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
What's up, Ricky Dillon here at the largest social media gathering in the world. So the internet is an amazing place, but sometimes it can be a not so great place with online bullying and trolling and stuff. Have you ever seen online bullying before?
Unfortunately, it's kind of common. Online, people can hide behind the internet. Those comment sections can be a little
harsh.
Yeah,
definitely.
That's a good word for it.
I've been called many homophobic names.
I felt embarrassed. I felt humiliated. It made me stop liking myself. What if I told you there is something that you can use anytime that you see bullying online that calls attention to it in a nice way? Like, hey, that's not nice.
I wish that was the thing.
It's this! So anytime that you see any kind of hate online, go into your phone, go into the symbol section, post this I, and it says that that's bullying. That's not nice. So would you post this if you saw someone bullying someone?
Oh yeah, definitely. It's like a lot more mature way to handle the situation. Find the emoji in your phone, send it to 5 of your friends, and let them know what it means to be a witness.
Go to eyewitnessbullying.org to learn more about the emoji.
Thinking of moving? Before you do anything else, call Diane Whittick of Bowen Realty. She provides a concierge service. Things like having your home or condo packed and shipped, even take care of your home repairs or upgrades. Diane has the expertise to get it done. As a seller, you will have constant contact. She will furnish you with bids on any services that might need completion: air conditioning, plumbing, handyman, and even cleaning. Living up north and have a home to sell here in South Florida? Just give her the keys, address, and a signature. Your payment will be wired when the property is sold. That's right, Diane does it all. Thinking of buying? Diane has great listening skills. Tell her what you want, give her your budget, and like a genie, she will make your real estate wish come true. There's no regrets when you choose Diane Whittick of Bowen Realty. To reach Diane, call 561-247-5478. That's 561-247-5478. Diane Whittick at Bowen Realty, located in Wellington at Wellington Trace East and Forest Hill Boulevard. 561-247-5478.
We just finished dinner and it was time for homework. He hates homework.
It makes no sense.
I don't know how he finds anything in his backpack.
I can't find my backpack.
I couldn't even read his handwriting.
Holding the pencil makes my hand hurt.
I know he's bright.
Why is it so hard for me?
He's
I'm
just
trying
gotta
as
try a
hard
little
as
harder.
I can.
When you can see learning and attention issues from their side, you can be on their side. Go to understood.org, a free online resource with support and tools to help your child thrive.
Do you have an unusual pet? Did you know that the Rainforest Clinic in Loxahatchee specializes in exotic pets? They see pets that other vets don't. Parrots and chickens, ducks, geese, turtles, snakes, goats, pigs, lizards, and even monkeys. Are you a beekeeper? Dr. Clubb, the first of her kind in the area? Yes, she takes care of bees as well. Dr. Susan Clubb has decades of experience and known around the world for her reputation as a premier avian vet. Located at 3319 E Road in Loxahatchee, just a short distance north of Okeechobee Road, you will find a modern clinic with in-house labs, which allow you to get your test answers quickly. You can find them online at www.susanclub.com. That's www.susanclubb.com. Or you can reach her at 561-795-4878. It's Dr. Susan Clubb. That's 561-795-4878. The Rainforest Clinic located in Loxahatchee. 561-795-4878.
I grab my fishing pole and cast it in the water. I fish until dawn. Oh my, I caught a shark. I'm fishing and blowing on when the sun shines all day. They call me a grouper. So I'm fishing and blowing on.
It's the Fish Florida Show with your host, Riscala Stevens, bringing the outdoors to you every Sunday morning, 8 to 10 a.m. And now your host, Riscala Stevens.
All right, my friends, we are back. It is the Fish Florida Show. It's an honor and privilege to be with you. I'm going to open up the phone lines. If you have a comment, a question, or something like that, please feel free to give us a call. We'll have a short period here if anybody wants to call in for whatever reason that they have. The phone number to call is 561-440-5174. That's 561-440-5174. And I'd be happy to hear from you, whatever comments that you might have. And while I'm thinking about it, if you have a question and you don't feel like calling in for whatever reason, you can always leave the question on our Facebook page. If you would go to the Facebook page and look for the Fish Florida Show, you'll find our Facebook page there, and you can give us a like. That will help us remain active in searches. And you can listen to the show from the Fish Florida page, from the Facebook page. The Fish Florida Show on Facebook has a live contact button there that you can click, and you can listen to the show there as well. Or you can go to the fishfloridashow.com. You can listen to us live there, or you can download the app. The app is free. It doesn't cost you anything. I know that a lot of stuff, they tell you, well, it's a free download. And then you download it and you find out after you've downloaded, well, it costs, a certain amount of money now to use the program. It was free to download, but it's not free to use. That's not the case with the app. The app is free, period. There's no charges hidden or anything like that. It's a free download. You can find it at any of the major stores. The Fish Florida app, really a nice tool to have if you're going to be outdoors. Great tool to have with you because it gives you a wide variety of information regarding what's going on outside. Today in South Florida, if you're not here with us today in South Florida, I feel sad for you because it's one of those few days where it's very pleasant outside. It's probably, I haven't looked recently, but it's probably upper mid 70s, maybe lower 70s, a very gentle breeze. Humidity seems to be not quite as high as it normally is. A lot of times for us here in South Florida, we get the heat and then we get the humidity on top of it. You walk out the door, leave your home, you walk out the door and you feel like you've walked into a sauna. It doesn't feel like that this morning. And the skies are relatively clear. It's really a very, very pretty day. If you're going to go out, if you're thinking about going out, today's the day to do it. If you're thinking about going out in a boat, seas are going to be less than 2 feet. 2 feet or less is what they say. And it's going to be low winds, 5 knots or less. So it's going to be a day that you can enjoy yourself out there. Some of the days I used to look so forward to. Usually I have Pam Worth with me on as my co-host, and I'm sure that she's trying her best to get in, but she's more than likely having cell phone issues. So for those of you who miss Pam, I miss her too, and I'm sure she'll be back next week when she gets her. She may even call in before the show's over if she can find a good area where she's got good cell phone coverage. Anyway, while I'm thinking about it, let me pass this on to you as well. There's a wide variety of ways that you can help us as a show. I'm looking for feedback from people. What is it that you're interested in? And what is it that you think that you would like to know more about? I feel bad that we couldn't get Betty back on and spend some time with her. Something that is really near and dear to my heart is people that go out and they work with other people. And Betty's one of those. Peter's one of those. Mike is one of those. A lot of the guests that come on, Angela's one of those. A lot of the guests that come on are people who enjoy working with other people and teaching other people. There's an old saying, if you give a man a fish, you feed him for a day. But if you teach a man to fish, that's a whole nother story. You feed him for the entire life. And that's really, for me, teaching somebody a skill that you have and having them learn so that they, the learning curve is much easier, I guess is the easiest way to put it. The learning curve becomes much easier for them because they're using your experience and your expertise and kind of cutting the corner, if you will, with regard to all the mistakes that are made with whatever it is that might be, whether it's football, baseball, fishing, whatever that might be. When you have somebody who reaches out and spends time with you, the way that I look at that is that it's non-refundable. Your time that you spend is non-refundable. You can never get that back. So when you take that an investment into someone else's life, kids, veterans, Peter mentioned about the veterans. It's sad what happens to the veterans, and there are people out there who will take veterans fishing. I can't remember the outfit. I had one of them on not too long ago. They were looking to have a tournament for veterans. Reaching out and helping other people. This is really, in my opinion, if we want to make America great again, this is how the people are going to make America great again. Nothing against, I'm not going to get political, nothing against the president or anything like that, but the truth of the matter is it's people who make it great again. People responding and reacting to other people and helping other people, sharing in the whatever it is. When people come together, we can do all kinds of things. I was involved in something a while back, and it was a training. I watched 100 people who literally didn't know each other. They would be no more friends than people you just meet on the street kind of thing. And in the span of 3 days, I watched 100 people begin to build lifelong relationships because of this training that we went through. So I've always been convinced that it is us reaching out to other people, building those relationships and working together. And I watched 100 people. It was really amazing. I watched 100 people work together to achieve a goal. We were given a challenge. As 100 people, we had to meet this challenge as a group, not as individuals, as a group. And you think about this for a minute. If you've got 2 or 3 friends of yours and you say, okay, well, somebody has challenged us to do something as a group, not individuals, do you think you'd be able to do it with 2 or 3 friends? I'm talking about 100 people who really didn't know each other. But the common bond was we wanted to succeed. We wanted to help each other. We wanted, as a whole, for us to succeed. I think that's something that's kind of missing today. We're pulled apart. We're pulled apart by technology. We're pulled apart by different subjects that go on, whether it's religion, whether it's politics, whatever that might be. And we need everything that we can to pull each other back together. I think that, again, it's a personal opinion of mine. It's a personal belief of mine. In my life's experience, fishing was a very positive thing for me. It wasn't, sophisticated. I didn't realize that fishing could be so sophisticated until I got older. To me, fishing was, grab your pole, grab your bucket, grab your tackle box, and go down the canal. And we had saltwater canals. We'd fish in the saltwater canals. Anything that you had in the bay, we had in the canals. Sharks, barracuda, grouper, snapper, grunt, just about anything that was in the bay was in our canal. Back then, I don't think that is the case any longer. So to me, fishing was a very simple thing, and was always happy to catch fish because not only do I love catching them, I love eating them. One of those things that made a big impression in my life, and I believe it could make a big impression in other people's lives. It certainly is better than here's something that I've observed. I went to a restaurant with a friend of mine not too long ago, a well-known restaurant, a relatively quiet environment. As I looked around, the majority of the people that I saw had this little device in their hand. Here they are 2 feet from another human being, but they chose to use this little device that we call cell phones. There's no relationships anymore. When, again, my life's experience, when you go out and you share your experience, both of you are experiencing the same thing at the same time, you're going out to dinner with each other. I find it almost offensive that if you're going out to dinner with each other, you're sitting feet away from each other, but yet the person that you're sitting with doesn't have your attention. A piece of technology has your attention. What does that say about the relationships? We look so forward to having these things in our hands that it takes away from the beauty of life. One of the most beautiful things I've ever experienced is to get out on the water on a day like today, where the ocean is like a puddle. It really is one of those rare times, a very gentle motion on the ocean. And the fishing is, in some cases, just astronomically unbelievable. I shared many times a fishing story that I had with a friend of mine. We went out of Islamorada, was one of my favorite places. Went out about maybe 15 miles due east of the lighthouse. So we were in one of the shipping lanes, whether it was northbound or southbound, I don't know. Found a tree, of all things to find in the ocean, a huge tree that somebody had cut down somehow, had ended up in the ocean. Of course, all the leaves were gone, but the branches were still there. This thing was floating upside down in probably 1,000 feet of water, but it was semi-buoyant. It was underneath, it wasn't popping up out of the surface, but it was floating there just under the surface. Inside of this thing was everything you could imagine: barracuda, shark, peanut dolphin, larger dolphin down at the bottom, marlin, and sailfish coming in and out of it and just feeding themselves. It was like a buffet for fishing. One of the best, most enjoyable fishing trips I've ever had. And the ocean that particular day was like a puddle. It was just one of those things that you can't imagine. People see pictures of the ocean or videos of the ocean. I see some of these pictures of some of these 50-foot, 100-foot waves, and my goodness, I couldn't believe it. It was like a puddle, like glass, as they refer to. It is a very relaxing, for me, it was a very relaxing feeling. And I've always been able to, regardless of whether I catch fish or not, I've always been able to enjoy that moment. I'm away from it. You kind of forget about everything. It's kind of like when people used to say, I'm going to go camping. I'm going to go in the woods. I'm going to go in the mountains, whatever that might be. I'm getting away from everything so that you can put the technology down, pick up something else that is more relevant in your life and enjoy. We're kind of sidetracked with all of this stuff that goes on around us all the time. So that's my little bit about technology. I love technology. Don't misunderstand me. I built my first computer in 1985, so I've been around technology all of my life, most of my life. And so I love technology. I just don't like what it does to some people. I don't particularly like how it has intruded into our lives to the point where, again, I mentioned I went to this restaurant enjoying a great meal with my friend, and I asked him to look around. I said, take a look around. What do you see? I see people having dinner. I said, no, observe. What do you see? There's people having dinner. They couldn't recognize what I recognized. And when I pointed it out, they said, oh, yeah, you're right. Wow, didn't think about that. Because it's a commonplace in our lives. It's so common to pick up a phone and, instead of spending time with a person that you've gone out of your way to go have dinner with, you're going to spend it with your phone. To me, it's just something that has happened to our society that I think we should back away from a little bit. I think with too much technology in our lives. Everywhere we go, we're saturated with some kind of technology. You walk, this particular restaurant in the waiting area had TV, technology again. So like I said, it's just one of those things that I like to promote. I like to promote relationships, and I like to promote people who promote relationships. And many of the guests that come on, that's exactly what they do, and I'm greatly appreciative of it. All right, I'm up against, I think it's going to be the last break, so please don't go away. We'll be taking our last one, and we'll be back.
Listening to the Fish Florida Show with your host, Riz Keller. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
From the author of Silent Steps and Haunted, Finding an Explanation for the Unknown, comes a story so chilling it will haunt you for years to come. Krista is a young woman escaping her past, running away from her family, her traumas, and her God, hoping to find a new life in a different town. But when she is forced to make a horrible choice, she comes to realize malevolent entities have controlled the true darkness she has been a part of. That is when her real terror begins. Penitence is disturbing and evocative. It will tear down the walls between what is real and what is nightmare. Penitence is the new novel by the man called the new master of speculative fiction, Ira Robinson. Find it and all of his books at his website, originalworlds.com.
Do you own a laser printer, copier, or a fax? Well then, listen close to this announcement. Laser Technologies has been providing high-quality, frustration-free toner cartridges that are guaranteed not to harm your equipment for over 20 years. Laser Technologies will save you on your supplies with high quality and fast delivery. Savings up to 50%. Laser Technologies supplies toner, imaging drums, developer and cartridges for most of the major brands. For a price quote, send an email to service@laser-technologies.com. Include your printer make and model for your part number. Call us at 561-792-9600. That's 561-792-9600. Laser Technologies, providing 100% of the quality at a fraction of the price. 561-792-9600.
Want to give your pet the celebrity treatment? Have you heard of Holly Wolf Pet Grooming and Care in Royal Palm Beach? They're located just off State Road 7 and have been servicing the area for 14 years. Holly Wolf Pet Grooming and Care is the home of the Blueberry Facial, also specializing in tartar removal with 8 years of assisting in dental procedures. Holly Wolf Pet Grooming and Care? They're more than just about dogs. They are the only experienced cat groomer in the area. They also cater to all breeds and sizes and open 6 days a week. Holly Wolf Pet Grooming and Care, located just north of the Super Walmart in Royal Palm Beach. You can find them at 250 Business Parkway. They specialize in shampoos with no extra charge. Flea and tick dips also available. Holly Wolf Pet Grooming and Care. You can give them a call at 561-793-9992. They also provide gift certificates for those looking for that special present. Holly Wolf Pet Grooming and Care. 561-793-9992. They're located in Royal Palm Beach. That number, 561-793-9992. Call for your appointment today. 561-793-9992. Holly Wolf Pet Grooming and Care, where your pet gets celebrity treatment.
Can I tell you a cat joke? Just kidding. Why did the girl ask the mushroom to dance? Because he was a fun guy. What do you call a pig that knows karate? Pork chop. Why was the basketball court all wet? Why? Because the players kept dribbling all over it. Can I tell you another one? So how does a tissue dance? Put a little boogie on it. What's Beethoven's favorite fruit? Banana. What is a boxer's favorite drink? Fruit punch.
Dad joke. Corny, groan-worthy, but also one of the simplest ways to share a moment with your kids.
What did the buffalo say when he dropped his son off at school? Bye, son.
So take a moment to make your kid laugh, because dad jokes rule. Make your kid laugh today. Go to fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
I grabbed my fishing pole and cast it in the water. I fish until dawn. Oh my, I caught a shark. I'm fishing and blowing on when the sun shines all day. They call me a grouper. So I'm fishing and blowing on. Oh yeah.
It's the Fish Florida Show with your host, Riscala Stevens, bringing the outdoors to you every Sunday morning, 8 to 10 a.m. And now your host, Riscala Stevens.
All right, we are back in final segment of the show. Thank you to each one of you out there who take the time to, tune in with us and allowing us to share with you. I try to have a wide variety of guests on, so there's always a wide variety of information coming forth. And try to keep it interesting for you. Again, if you have something that you would like to hear or a question that you have, you can go to the Facebook page, leave us you're allowed to post on the Facebook page. Leave us a comment or question there, and we'll do our best to get you an answer. My next guest, Captain Tom Van Horn, and I think I've had Captain Tom once before on. I don't recall. Captain Tom, is this your first or second time?
I believe it's the second time.
Second time. And are you in Central Florida?
Yes. Yeah, I live in a town called Chuliota, which is east of Orlando.
Never heard of it.
And I fish. Yeah, it's right next to Taintsville. Never heard of that either, right?
No.
But that's a true name of a little city called Taintsville. Taint Oviedo, Taint Chuliota.
Oh my goodness!
It's right in the middle.
Right.
But yeah, I live right in a really good area because I'm near the St. Johns River, and only minutes from the coast, so I can go to I fish in the Indian River Lagoon, Mosquito Lagoon. I fish out of Port Canaveral a lot, and I'm actually fishing this morning. I'm down on the Econ River.
Oh my goodness! I had
creek. It's actually that kind of a creek.
I had Robert Warner. Robert is with Florida Fisherman Magazine on early in the show, and he was talking about sailfish. And I had Angela came on later on. She's down in the Keys, and she kind of agreed with what he was saying about the sailfish. Seems like the sailfish have all of a sudden they're kind of gone away. You're experiencing the same thing?
Well, we don't usually get sailfish in our area.
Oh, really?
Out of Port Canaveral. Yeah, the Gulf Stream up here, if you follow it, it's 30, 40 miles out.
Oh, I didn't realize that. Wow.
Yeah. So the guys that do fish sail usually have to go a long way. I have caught them in shallow before, but it's kind of unusual.
Yeah, we're fortunate here in Palm Beach County. It's only, oh my gosh, I think it can be as little as 4 or 5 miles out, depending upon that particular day and where it's running. I didn't realize it was so far out for you guys.
But it's not just sailfish. But I mean, there's a lot of strange things happening to the fisheries, and they're there's no way to really explain them. I mean, even in freshwater, we've had some issues in our area where the bass fishing hasn't really materialized. It didn't materialize last year after the hurricane. So it's hard to say if it's a temperature thing because it is a lot warmer this summer or this winter. And we haven't really experienced a cold winter yet.
That really plays a big part in what's going on in the species and how they're going to feed. I was speaking, I think it was with Angela earlier, and she was agreeing with me that the fish feel the barometric pressure drop, and that changes the behavior of the fish. And
absolutely. I agree with that 100%.
If somebody's going to go out and not aware of all these things, then they could utilize someone's experience like you. You're a guide, correct? Are you a guide, or am I incorrect?
I'm a fishing guide. Yes, I guide.
So I thought
guide
so.
Here in Florida, and I also guide in Alaska during the summer.
Oh my goodness, that I didn't know. Wow.
Yeah, I guide in a place called the Katmai Lodge, which is the Katmai National Park. It's way up in the Bristol Bay area. The whole river's fly in. You can't get to it any other way.
Wow.
So it's kind of a cool place.
That's the kind of stuff that movies are made out of.
Yeah. The fish are stupid there.
Yeah, they'll bite anything.
There's a lot of them, and they're stupid. You don't see that around here too much anymore.
No, I think they've been educated around here. What kind of fish are up there?
Well, we have 5 salmon runs. Start with king salmon, sockeye, the chum salmon, pink salmon, and then the last one's the silvers, which are cohos. And then the river, it's called the Alagnak River, which is a really cool place. But it's the only river in Alaska that's designated as a trophy trout fishing stream. So all rainbow trout have to be released. It's all catch and release.
Oh my!
And then because of that, it's just, I mean, the fish. Our biggest rainbow last year was 33 inches long, which is probably about 12 pounds.
Wow!
You can imagine a rainbow trout like that.
So in this particular area, it's catch and release only?
For freshwater species. Now, the salmon are considered a saltwater species.
Mm-hmm.
You can keep the salmon up, within the limits.
And do you see that this conservation has made a positive difference in the area?
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's for people who have giant rainbow trout on their bucket list, it's the place to go.
Wow.
Hold on a second.
Yeah, I have had guests on that have kind of given testimony.
That was my alarm. That was my alarm to call you.
Yeah, we're running a little early today. I've had guests on that have given testimony that the conservation does make a difference. So, again, I ask people to kind of confirm or one way or another whether it is they're helping or not. And just about everybody I ask, in cases when we're speaking about conservation, it has made a positive difference. I can't think of the gentleman's Captain Neil Holland, I think it is. He's with OceanAid 360. They go out there and on the West Coast and they pick up abandoned crab traps and things like that, cleaning up the water. And he tells me that they're seeing a positive difference in doing what they're doing.
Yeah.
So I'm always happy to hear to hear things like that.
Yeah. Well, we in Orlando. It's kind of a very unique community of anglers. We have all types of anglers, from offshore to fly fishing and inshore freshwater. And we have a group, we do an event here in October called Gumbo Wars. It's a gumbo cook-off.
Now that sounds interesting.
And, last year we had over 1,000 people participate and we raised $28,000. And then what we do with the money is we support all of the youth angler groups in Central Florida. You know, the high school fishing teams, the clubs, the kids fishing clubs, and we do clinics for kids, and we taught over 1,000 kids last year to fish.
Wow!
You know, and they all got fishing rods when they were done. Thanks to the Fish Florida Foundation.
How cool is that? Wow!
Yeah.
Well, listen, while I'm thinking about it, I want you to please keep in touch with me. I want to promote that as we get closer and closer, and make sure that people know that that's available. That's phenomenal. Yeah, that really is a heartstring for me. That is phenomenal. I'm a big.
And what's really cool about it, I mean, you think that's the interesting thing, but we've been doing it for 14 years.
Wow.
And now we haven't been doing Gumbo Wars that long, but the kids thing we have. But now we have kids who are teaching kids who come to our events and teach the kids and see a lot of kids in school these days in both high school and college are required to do community service to graduate. So we provide them with an opportunity to do fishing for community service. You know, we give them credits for when they come out and teach the kids and stuff. So it's really turning around. I'm hoping that, you know, we can touch a few to the point where they'll, you know, pick up in our footsteps, you know, and keep it going down the road. But you know,
fishing,
as we call it, use don't abuse attitude is what we call it.
Wow.
We want people to use it, but don't abuse it.
But fishing can be a learning experience, not just in fishing, but about life itself. Because
absolutely,
there's so many parallels between the two. You know, you get a piece of bait and you throw it out there, and it's kind of sort of like a lottery. You don't know what you're going to catch. But then, as you become more experienced, you say, okay, well, I'm going to use this bait because I want to go after this particular species. So you get better and better and better at it, and the payment, the return of the investment becomes better and better and better. To me, you know, in my life, it's always been an enjoyable experience. I can't tell you a bad day at fishing for me. I know people say a bad day at fishing is better than any day at work and the best day at work. But for me, it was always been something beneficial. And when we bring kids into the picture, because you're probably, as somebody who works with kids, I'm somebody who worked with kids a lot of my life. I used to be a foster parent here in Florida for many years.
Right.
And work with a lot of kids. I see the distractions that they get involved in with this and that and the other. When you get away from all of that and you spend time with them in something like fishing, which is, again, this is relatively relaxing, they learn that they have value.
Absolutely.
You know, the technology, I go back to technology because we're just saturated with it.
Next weekend, we have a tournament, a kids fishing bass fishing tournament.
Oh, wow.
And there's over 80 boats in it.
Sweet.
Over 80 fishing teams.
Wow.
You know, from all over the state of Florida, kids teams. So, you know, it is making an impact. Of course, it's competitive fishing. It's not fun stuff, but even today, you know, I'm here with a friend of mine, and we haven't caught a fish yet, but we've seen 4 deer, a big old alligator, and a herd of Japanese tourists.
Oh my goodness! Wow.
but yeah, so we're enjoying it. You know, we have a really unique, Econ River is really unique because it's like a river that runs through Orlando, but it's all protected. 1,000 feet on each side, and it's all still forest and still natural. And we're fishing for the American shads, what we're trying to catch today.
Wow. I want to ask you, with regard to water quality, did you guys suffer from the irresponsible actions of the South Florida Water Management when they were draining all the water? Did you suffer from that?
No.
Oh, sweet.
Actually, we have our own issues up here, but
well, I guess you're above
Kissimmee
most of it.
River,
Yeah.
we're above that. But
Yeah.
the Kissimmee River actually flows south into Okeechobee, so that probably influenced it some. But we have our issues on this coast, in the Indian River Lagoon, the upper Indian River Lagoon, are basically human effluent. Has polluted the river to the lagoon to the
How
point
sad.
where we have the algae blooms.
Right,
and,
right. That's what we had. Yep.
When the water gets dirty like that, the grasses don't grow. Seagrass doesn't grow.
The
and
water
that's
doesn't get
that's
filtered.
The keystone species for the lagoon.
Yep. Yep.
So we have issues, but they're different. They're a little different. They're not freshwater pouring in. They're pollution from. They say septic tanks, but a lot of our treatment systems in our area, the growth has been so fast that their infrastructure isn't keeping up.
Yeah,
with
we're
the
booming.
growth.
Yeah, Florida is just booming with people coming in constantly, and I think the lack of responsible planning plays a big part of all of this.
Oh, absolutely, because all it takes is a power outage, and the treatment plants shut down, and everything overflows, and it goes into the lagoon. In one way or another, ends up in the water.
Wow.
And with the hurricanes that we had last year, or in the year before, that's there's not much the treatment facilities can do to contain it. Just too much. They're just not big enough to handle the influx.
Wow.
But awareness has really improved up here. We did.
That's a good point. Go ahead.
Yeah, we did an event back on Earth Day, and it was called Hands Across the Lagoon. And it wasn't really promoted very big, but on every causeway, from Daytona south, I think all the way down to Fort Pierce, concerned people joined hands across the bridges in the causeways.
Wow.
And it was just an awareness thing to show that there are a lot of people who care about the water quality, and because without good water, we're not going to have a good quality.
Amen.
Quality of life is not going to be.
We
good.
got water on three sides of the state. We got to take care of that water.
Yeah.
All right, my
so
friend.
Anyway,
I'm about run out of time, but before we go, you have a website?
Yes, and my website is IRL, which is an acronym for Indian River Lagoon -fishing.com. And if you just Google, .com.
Okay.
If you Google Tom Van Horn, Captain Tom Van Horn, you'll find me. And I do a kind of a unique blog, a fishing forecast and a report. So if you are going to come up this way to fish, I've been doing this forecast for over 15 years, and so you can kind of look at it and say, okay, well, this time of the year we're going to have like for example, coming up once the water reaches 72 degrees in our area, or 70 degrees, 68, 70, we're going to have our cobia run. So there's things like that are in the forecast. So if somebody is coming this way, they can look at it and at least get a feel for what might be going on in our area as far as fishing.
Well, Captain Tom, thank you again. I greatly appreciate it. And I, if I'm not mistaken, you do salt and fresh, correct? You do both.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I do both.
All right, my friend. I wish you a wonderful day. God bless you, and I'm looking forward to having you back on. And I want to promote that tournament that we talked about.
Number Wars.
Yep.
Okay. All right.
Talk to you soon.
We'll send something that way.
Thank you.
All right, so thank you very much.
All right. Bye-bye. All right, my friends, that's about it for today. We will be back in a week. It has been truly an honor and a privilege. Please go to the Facebook page if you haven't. Give us a like. That makes us relevant in the searches. And we'll be looking forward to having you to having you back and listen with us again.